Hey y'all, and it's Destiny of It's True Destiny. Isn't that weird? Can we talk about that for a second? I changed my name. How do we feel about it? I'm kind of liking it because I'm trying to do a new direction a little bit with my content. But in today's video, I'm going to be talking to you all about your natural hair questions and any other questions that you have for me. Y'all dropped some very interesting questions, so I can't wait to get into it. In like 2 seconds, I'm about to be geeked off my matcha. It's so good. I got this little mug at the Porter Flea Market. If you want to see that vlog, it's gonna be linked below. But this is my hair for that video as well. So it's been a couple days. It's been gotta count it out. It's been 5 days and it's still holding up well for a leave-in and a foam. And I'll talk to you all a little bit about my leave-in experiment that I'm doing with different stylers and all those things in a future video. Still experimenting and all those things, but I will get back with you all about that. Let's go ahead and hop into these questions. Starting off with a question kind of related to that matcha is, and if I'm looking at my phone, it's because I'm looking at y'all's questions. But do you like coffee? If you do you have a certain flavor? I myself love coffee and hazelnut is my favorite. I have a very complicated relationship with coffee, okay? I feel like I want to like it so much, but lately I just haven't been feeling it. If I am reaching for coffee, I'm usually going to get something that has a little bit of mocha or caramel in it. That's something that I usually go to. If I go to my local spot here, I usually get a frozen frappuccino. Regular hot coffee just doesn't do it for me anymore. If I'm going to get coffee, I'm going to get iced coffee. But really, I'm a matcha girl to my core. I love me a matcha. I just love matcha so much. It doesn't matter if it's hot, if it's iced, it doesn't matter. I'm getting it. Next question, what are your preferred wash and go products? I made a video a while back and it's my summer wash and go routine. I think that's what it's called. But really, I try my best not to stray away from those products. I am experimenting a tad bit more than the average person as a content creator. But for the most part, I love using Uncle Funky's Daughters with Curly Magic with I Create Hold and pairing it with one of my toppers, whether that's the Weed Anti-Humidity Gel or the Trepador one. I love the Trepador one a bit more, but it is expensive and it is hard to get to, so I usually opt for that Weed gel for my topper. If I'm going for something that I want is for quick dry time, I'm usually reaching towards something like a Mousse Def for my wash and go. I love a one product styler, so if I can get away with it, and it's not recommended to do this all the time, it's just not recommended to do that. Mousse Def is very drying, so I can't use it every week like I would like to, but that is one of my favorite one product stylers on the market right now. Next question is, what is your 9 to 5 and does it take anything away from your content or does it add to it? For my 9 to 5, I work in the nonprofit space, but I help out a lot with their communications and their social media. So it really does add to my content, I feel like, because I'm able to experiment not only with my content, but with the brand's content as well. So it helps me figure out what strategies work for each industry, and it just allows me to kind of dive deep in social media analytics and techniques and tools that are out there pretty much in and out every single day. It does take away a little bit because it can be a bit exhausting to be immersed in that space as a social media manager for so long, and you can get a little bit of fatigue from it, especially at the end of the day when you have to kind of work for yourself and make your own content. But overall, I said that it helps me out a lot when it comes to my own personal brand and my own personal content. All right, this one is a long one, so I'm just gonna read it straight from my phone. For some reason, Uncle Funky Daughter's Curly Magic doesn't work for me. I emulsify, I haven't used heavy oils and use clarifying shampoo, but my hair is definitely not defined after using Uncle Funky's gel. And do I offer hair consultations to kind of help mitigate and try to help you figure out this issue? I don't, unfortunately, offer hair consultations. I feel like it's just not for me at this time, especially as someone who doesn't have all the cosmetology experience. I can share my own personal experience, but offering actual hair care advice is a very different ballpark, and I would never want to steer anybody wrong, but I can try to help you, work through the question that you did ask. When it comes to Uncle Funky's Daughter's Curly Magic, I think it's so important to make sure that you're emulsifying, and you are doing that. But beyond that, it's a lot of different questions that you can ask yourself to see what the root of the problem actually is, because it probably isn't necessarily the gel. If you're having a problem with definition, it's probably something going on with the hair itself and not necessarily the product. If it is the product, however, just, you don't have to use it. It's not the end all be all when it comes to products. I just happen to personally like the product as a base gel. I feel like it's one of the better ones on the market for me personally, but if it's not for you, then that is totally okay. And I am trying my best to find other base gels out there that I do enjoy at the price point that Curly Magic is. There are some other ones out there, but they're so expensive that you can't use the amount of product that you feel like you need to use to get adequate application. If it is the hair itself that is not getting defined, regardless of what product that you are using, I would highly look into what you're doing in the shower and in your day-to-day. I did do a little snooping. I don't offer consultations, but I did a little snooping, and I saw that the particular person that asked this question was wearing braids a lot in their pictures. Oh, my plant light went out. I saw that they were wearing protective styles and braids a lot, and that can cause dehydration from repetitive back-to-back use, and that could potentially be an issue. And the reason why you're not seeing definition is because the hair is severely dehydrated. That's the best I can do without being in your head and having all the cosmetology experience that I would need to adequately address the issue. But I hope that helps. If you have any other questions or something like that, I will be happy to help you try to track down a stylist that may be able to answer that question. But again, you got to make sure you vet your stylist. Next up is, what is your favorite skincare product right now? And for me, I try to keep my skincare very, very, very simple. Currently, I am trialing one product, which is a retinol. I kind of want to start my retinol journey again all over, because I fell off completely like a year ago. So I'm trying to get back onto that. But right now, I am using the best sunscreen I've ever tried. This is the Skin and Lab Hydra Barrier Fresh Sun Lotion SPF 50 plus PA plus. This stuff is so good. If you haven't given it a try yet, I would highly recommend, especially as a black girl with oily and acne prone skin. I love this sunscreen. I was using the Innisfree Daily UV Defense. I love that one for the price point. It can be a bit oily, especially throughout the day, and especially with reapplication. This one isn't as oily, and I really enjoy that. If you have sensitive eyes, it's probably an issue, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. But if you don't have a sensitivity to your eyes, because I know it can sting a little bit, but it dissipates after a few minutes, it's so good. It is pricey. It's pricey. Okay, so I caught it on sale. So definitely look for sales for this product, but it's a very good sunscreen. All right, so we're moving over to YouTube questions, and the first question over here is, how often do you get your ends maintenance? Now, this is the very complicated answer to this question. for a multitude of reasons. And let me explain. I try my best to get my ends trimmed every 4 months. I know the general guideline is every 3 to 4 months. I went in for my first maintenance haircut with my current stylist, and at the 3-month mark, she's like, why are you here? She was like, you don't really need your ends cut, but we ended up going in a different direction with a different shape. And I really enjoyed that haircut because I learned a lot more about my hair, and I learned that how to work with a foam a bit better. And we trialed out the Intersense I Create definition foam when it first dropped, and so I'll link that video for you all below. So from that experience, I learned that I don't necessarily need to go in on the 3-month mark. So I want to go in on every 4 months if possible, with work, with my general schedule, with my stylist schedule, with money looking funny, and just not feeling like it's the most financially smart decision. I'm not always in the salon at the 4-month mark. So let me make that very clear. I don't know if that is to the detriment of my hair. I really don't think so, because I really don't go beyond 6 months. I don't do that, but I try my best to do 4 months, but that usually ends up being about every 5 months or so. So yeah, I am actually scheduled for a maintenance cut in a couple of weeks at the end of December. So that's super exciting. Plus, let me just say this, I have never been on top of my haircuts, but that was because a majority of my natural hair journey, I was in college and I did not have a job. So I didn't go to the salon like that to be on top of my trims. So I've never really had that back-to-back every 3 months I'm in the salon. Even when relaxed, I wasn't getting my hair trimmed that often. Although I would love to be in the salon every 4 months, it just never really works out that way. The next question is, how do I sleep at night with twists in? Usually I just put it in the bonnet. I put a scarf on, my usual what I do with the wash and go. If I'm real lazy, I just put on a little scrunchie, a little satin scrunchie, and sleep on my silk pillowcase. I'm really not that picky or complicated when it comes to natural hair for the most part. I just go to sleep. I know some people will like pin them down a little bit and wrap them around to give them a little bit of length overnight. I feel like that can help if you're kind of in that awkward stage, but I feel like that can mess with the definition a little bit. I try not to touch it as much as possible. I will say I tend to lean towards the scarf method and just putting it in a loose pony and sleeping on the pillowcase at night, because the bonnet, I feel like my twists are kind of loosey-goosey in there, and it can just rub all around the bonnet and rub up against each other, and it can end up a little bit more frizzy that way. The scarf and the ponytail kind of keep it a bit more organized. Okay, so this next question, let me read this one. This is our last question, by the way. Oh, I forgot about this one. Oh no. Okay, do you have issues with your curly cut like the other girls? One moment. All right, my camera keeps going blurry, so this is like the 3rd time me answering this question. Hopefully it works. But what I was saying was, oh my God. Starting out, I've never been on top of my curly cuts like I just told y'all, and I made a whole in-depth videos of walking y'all through all the curly cuts that I've had and the good and the bad experiences that I have had in this space, and what to look for when you are looking for a stylist, if we can't even trust stylists anymore. All that stuff I talked about in that video, but I'll go in a bit more detail to explain why I didn't probably necessarily have the damage that you see other people having. Is I'm a content creator. I'm in my hair a lot. It pays to be in my hair and be very intentional about my hair and notice when things are going wrong with my hair. I knew the very next wash day that something was wrong when I had my bad curly cut experience. I knew the very next wash day that something was wrong. Did I trust the process? Yeah, but I felt like something was off and something was wrong. I didn't go back to that stylist. It's so important to be able to vet your stylist, whether they're part of a directory or not. And I was very intentional about following the current stylist that I had. I followed her for over a year before I ever stepped into her chair, seeing if I like valued her philosophy as a whole. And I know a lot of people don't have that luxury, but I truly hope that people have a good salon experience. I wish these people did not have damage to their hair. Is so sad, but I feel like there's a multitude of reasons because of that. And I think one of them is because I didn't start out with black girl curls. You know, I started out with Black Beauty School. I talked about this in my 2-year update of no oils and no butters. I started out with that. I was still in school, so I was very much still not going strictly about not using raw oils and butters. I was still using curl creams. I was still using deep conditioners. I was never really strict by the books because I evaluated other schools of thought. I looked into Yes Her Style. I looked into the Monarchy. I looked into, it was another one, Brown Girl, hold on. I looked into a brown skin women. That page is really educational. I followed Mish. Mish's has very educational content that doesn't necessarily follows no oils and no butters. I followed CC Loves Curl Studio. All of those people have different schools of thought, and I've always deciphered all of them before doing anything to my hair. So to say, and the page has done it where they put me in a box as well, that is not true. I've always surveyed multiple schools of thought and evaluated all this information. Even from other content creators, I have evaluated what they have gone through with their stylists and all those things. I am a nerd for this stuff. So it's not that I ever blindly followed, and it just sucks that the trust was violated between the consumer and the brand, and that should have never happened. I wish people, stylists in particular, talked about the issues of what's going on, and they probably are behind closed doors if we're being completely honest. That situation should have never happened, and I hope it never happens again. I hopefully don't experience any issues as well. I think another part of that is, since I'm a content creator, I am experimenting a bit more, so I'm probably prone to more damage, but I think that kind of played in my favor because I was never necessarily bound to very strict rules or felt like that I couldn't go beyond 3 products like I know a lot of people think when they first walk into no oils and butters. I think what really helped me out early in my journey, and I think a reason why a lot of people are seeing the damage, is because I laid off of the all-purpose shampoo probably a year or so in to my journey of no oils and butters. I do think that I was overusing that product because it just wasn't necessary. After a couple months of being into the method, it just wasn't necessary, and I learned that from my first stylist. I learned that from another content creator pretty early on, and I learned that as well from my current stylist. They say they don't even touch that shampoo. They don't even recommend that shampoo that I'm talking about. I don't think it's a bad shampoo. If you know, you know. But I think it was overused, and it's a bit more closer to clarifying that a lot of people realize. Now I probably use it little to none. Probably use it little to none due to the current advice of my stylist. Well, that's all for today's video. I hope I answered all of y'all's questions. If you want me to go in detail, in depth about anything, we could definitely make another video about that. Don't worry, we will definitely make another video about that. Make sure to always be kind in the comments. If not, you're getting blocked and deleted. You're getting up out of here, girl. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. Make sure to like and subscribe if you like content like this, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye, y'all.